Today's recipe calls for garlic. I'm going to show you how to make the best thing since sliced bread, also known as confit garlic. So with that said, let's get started.
The first thing we're going to do is peel 2 heads of garlic. You can do more or less, it's really up to you. In the end, I had about 50 to 60 garlic cloves, ranging in size from small to large. And the best method I find to peel the garlic is to cut the root end off of the garlic clove, which will help free up the skin and make it a whole lot easier to peel off. You can also put it in a container with a lid and shake it really hard, which will help break off the skin from the garlic cloves. But I find if you shake too hard, then the garlic starts to break down. And if you've ever worked with garlic, then you know it gets sticky when you cut it or when it starts to break down, which is really counterintuitive to peeling off the skin. So use whatever method that works best for you. You can also buy pre-peeled garlic cloves, but they tend to be a bit more expensive than regular garlic bulbs themselves. But the best method out there is to have somebody else do this dirty work for you, so you don't have to do it yourself. Now that it's taken you 2 hours to peel all your garlic cloves, the next thing you're going to do is grab a small saucepan and throw it over low to medium heat, and then throw all of your garlic in your pan. The next thing you're going to do is pour enough neutral tasting oil to cover all of your garlic cloves that are in your pan. For reference, I used about 1 cup of olive oil to ensure that everything was covered. And a little pro tip for you, ensure that you do not use a good extra virgin olive oil for this because you don't want to waste that good stuff. Once you introduce heat to extra virgin olive oil, it turns it super bitter and it'll ruin your garlic infused oil. So yeah, keep the good stuff for something else. This method of roasting garlic is technically called confit garlic, which means cooking something in its own fat or a fat because garlic doesn't have any fat. This method is a whole lot better than actually roasting your garlic in the oven because it's a lot faster, and this way you can keep an eye on it to prevent anything from getting too dark. We're going to let our garlic cook over low to medium heat for about 20 to 30 minutes or until our garlic cloves become nice and golden brown in color. You definitely want to keep an eye on your pot. You may or may not need to adjust the heat from time to time. You don't want it too high where it's boiling and you're deep frying your garlic cloves, and you don't want it too low where it's not doing anything. So you want that nice happy medium where it's simmering and slightly bubbling but not too crazy. And you want to give your pot the occasional stir, prevent any of your garlic cloves from sticking and burning to the bottom of your pot. A little pro tip for you: when you see your garlic is close to being done, you want to keep a close eye on it and check it more often than not, because when we take our garlic oil and confit garlic off of the burner and let it rest, it's going to carry over cook, which will make the garlic even darker. So this will help prevent it from getting too dark if you check it early and often. Now that our garlic has turned nice and golden brown, we're going to check it. You should be able to easily pierce it with a fork, or if you're a bonehead like me, and pull it straight out of the pan and see if you can smush and smash it with your finger, even though it's super hot. And if you can do those 2 things, then you know it's done. Once it's done, you're going to take it off the heat and let it completely cool down all the way before we start to throw it in our holding apparatuses to use later on. Now that our confit garlic has cooled and our garlic oil has also cooled down completely, we're going to separate 2 ingredients into different containers. So in one holding apparatus, you're going to throw all of your confit garlic into it and do your best to get as much oil off as possible. Of course, you're not going to get it all because the garlic has soaked up some of it and it'll slowly release in the holding apparatus, so it's not that big of a deal. You can't get it all off. Once you have all of your confit garlic in your container, throw a lid on it and pop it in the fridge and use it whenever your little heart desires, which I've heard garlic is good for your heart, but I'm not a doctor scientist, so I'm really not sure if that's true or not. Now that we have the confit garlic separated from our garlic oil, you're going to grab a mason jar or any other type of container and a small strainer, and we're going to strain our garlic oil into our jar. We're going to strain this to catch any imperfections, like some garlic skins that we didn't get in the beginning. Once you have everything strained, go ahead and throw a lid on it and throw it in your pantry or leave it on the countertop and use it at any time you would like. Now you got 2 great ingredients. Enjoy.
Now that our garlic is done, let's give it the old taste-a-roo. So it got a nice caramelization on it, looks really good, and the texture on it is nice and soft and pliable. Yeah, let's give it a shot. This garlic came out super delicious. If you've never had confit or roasted garlic before in your life, you should probably figure out what you're doing with your life and get your shit together, because this stuff is super tasty. And if you've ever eaten garlic straight up before, then you know it's like kind of spicy and overpowering and just like kills your palate, and it's just too much. But with this stuff, you can just eat it straight out of the jar because it came out so tasty. The garlic becomes nice and creamy, and there's that slight caramelization on it, and the flavors of the garlic really mellow out, and you get that nice roasted flavor as well. Overall, this thing came out super delicious. Alright, that's it for today's video. This recipe is really easy. There's not a whole lot to it. The hardest part of this entire recipe is peeling the garlic, which totally sucks, but in the end, it's definitely worth it. And this recipe is one of those BOGO, a twofer, no coupon needed kind of things. In the end, we get two great products. So we get that roasted garlic, which we can use to make mashed potatoes or hummus. And then we get that roasted garlic oil, which you can use to make salad dressings or even cook with. Those recipes like that are pretty sweet. I like those ones. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. And I keep eating this garlic, and I think I'm gonna get heartburn later, so I need to go find some Tums or something. So we'll see you on the next one. And really strong flavoring. Lots of flavor. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. And I think I'm gonna go find the lens cap so I can end this outro. So you get the nap. I don't know. I don't know. Desires and you think garlic needs to be added to it? Damn it. Get it together. Alright, if you've never had Confit garlic in your life, then you need a shit. You need a poo.